You know, we all think we know the Gettysburg Address. It's one of those speeches that feels like it was just perfect from the start, almost like it was carved in stone.
Right? I mean, those words are just so iconic. They're poetic, they're powerful, and they feel totally, completely inevitable. But were they? What if I told you that this absolute masterpiece wasn't just born in a flash of genius, but was actually built word by painstaking word? Well, the truth is, Lincoln was a master editor of his own work. And if we look at his early drafts compared to the final version, we get an incredible look into the art of revision. It's a real masterclass. So to really understand Lincoln's process, we're going to look at two key versions of the speech that survived. Think of it like a before and after shot of one of history's greatest speeches.
Okay, so on one side, you've got what's called the Nicolai copy. This is pretty much considered the earliest draft we have. And on the other side, we have the Bliss copy. Now that's the polished final version. It's the one Lincoln himself signed off on as the official text. You know, the one we all had to memorize in school. All right, let's dive in. We're going to break down 5 specific and sometimes tiny little edits that Lincoln made. But you'll see how each one was a deliberate choice that absolutely supercharged the speech's power and its impact. Let's start right at the top. The very first draft used the word upon, but the final version, it uses on. Now, I know what you're thinking. That seems like such a tiny, insignificant change. But what's the actual effect? So, just listen to this first draft for a second. Upon this continent. It's fine, right? It works. It's maybe a little formal, but nothing's wrong with it. Okay, now listen to the final version. On this continent. Hear that? It's just sharper. It's more direct. That one little change gives the opening a stronger, kind of punchier rhythm. Lincoln isn't just writing here, he's composing music, and he needs every single beat to land perfectly. Next up, Lincoln gets to the whole reason they're gathered there. The first draft is a little vague. It uses the pronoun it, but the final version, well, it gets way more specific. So the first draft says a portion of it. Now, grammatically, we know it refers to the battlefield, but the word itself is kind of abstract, right? It puts a little bit of distance between us and the raw reality of the place. But look at what happens when he changes it to a portion of that field. Whoa, that is so powerful. That field isn't some abstract idea. It's the actual ground they are standing on. He's literally rooting the speech and everyone listening in the physical, blood-soaked dirt of Gettysburg. Okay, this next change, this one might be the most powerful of them all. It completely reframes how we think about what the soldiers did. So, the first draft is just factual. Who died here? Death is presented as this thing that happened to them. It's passive. It's something they endured. But now the final version. Who here gave their lives? See that? This is not passive at all. This is an active choice. That one single word, gave, transforms these men from victims of war into agents of sacrifice. They didn't just die. They gave something precious for a cause. I mean, that change is everything. It gives their deaths a profound meaning and a purpose. All right, our next edit is pretty subtle. It's just the addition of a single repeated word. At first glance, you might think, isn't that redundant? But it's actually a brilliant piece of rhetorical engineering. The original line is perfectly clear. They died so the nation could live. Simple enough. But by adding that second that, Lincoln forges this direct, unbreakable link right back to the very first sentence of his speech. It's not just any nation, it's that nation, the specific one he just mentioned, the one conceived in liberty and dedicated to the proposition that all men are created equal. It just hammers home the central argument of the entire speech. It's genius. And finally, we've got the biggest structural change of the bunch, where this short, almost clipped phrase gets expanded into this flowing, formal, and unforgettable sentence. The first draft is super concise. This we may, in all propriety, do. It's a little formal, sure, with that inverted phrasing, but it gets the point across fast. Now listen to the final version. It is altogether fitting and proper that we should do this. Can you just hear the music in that? The rhythm creates this solemn, almost sacred cadence. It elevates the whole moment from just, a procedural act to this profound and dignified ceremony. It's just so much more memorable, more powerful, and way more poetic. So let's just pull back for a second and look at all 5 of these changes together. What do we see when we look at the big picture? Well, there's a really clear pattern here, isn't there? We see Lincoln moving from the abstract to the specific, from the passive to the active, and from just functional prose to truly powerful rhythmic poetry. Every single change makes the language sharper, more meaningful, and just timeless. So I think the crucial point here is this. The Gettysburg Address didn't just spring out of Lincoln's head fully formed and perfect. No way. It was crafted, it was polished, it was the product of a writer who really, truly understood that greatness is found in the details. And it's just such a powerful reminder for all of us, right? Masterpieces aren't born, they're meticulously built. It's a process of choosing not just a good word, but the absolute perfect word. Because, as Abraham Lincoln shows us, sometimes a single word really can change everything.